Store owner disrespects the people in the community. People in the community say, move out. He says no. They boycott. Guess what he did? Moved out. If you haven't already, check out the BBN apparel store. I'm pretty sure we got something that you've been looking for. Hey, to be honest with you, I did not mean to make that rhyme.
Oh, Black Dynamite, I wish it was that simple, but this is much bigger than you and me.
Hey, little mama. It may be bigger than you, and it may be bigger than me, but it ain't bigger than you and me. Can you dig it?
I don't fuck about the black people, okay?
The owner of Exxon located at Flat Shoals Road by Gresham Road. I've been running this store for the last 23 years, and I finally decided to sell it.
After 66 days of non-stop demonstrations outside the ExxonMobil off Flat Shoals Road, organizer Joe Jones is pleased that the owner is planning to sell.
We sent a clear message that we will no longer tolerate disrespect.
The store's owner apologized, but Jones says protests continued because of alleged racism and abusive behavior customers claim to have experienced at the store over the years.
It's in fact a privilege to get black dollars.
This week, the owner, Raheem Sivji, signed an agreement motioning to sell the property with an option for Jones to buy. As a result, Jones agreed to end the demonstration. Sivji called Jones's tactics harassment, adding that he lost 70% of revenue during the protest.
You know, this is a perfect opportunity to take this situation and try to promote a situation of black ownership.
Exactly. And this is what I've been saying. This is my strategy. You know, we shouldn't only boycott to do these things. You know, we live in communities where if we don't own anything, where other nationalities and other cultures can come into our communities and buy up our property and sell us things. No, that doesn't happen in any other community. The black community is the only people where you can go to their community and don't employ none of them, don't donate to the community, don't give back in any way, and just make money and leave the community and don't have to respect us. I think this should be a strategy. I think we need to do this nationwide in communities of color, wherever you have businesses, anything. If it's not someone that's from your community, giving back to your community or employing your community, then they should not be able to own anything in your community. There should be any gas station in your community should be owned by someone from your community. Any bodega, any store from your inside your community should be owned by someone from your community. So this should be a common practice. Let's not just boycott because they disrespect us. Let's boycott because they don't belong in our communities if they're not empowering our communities. So this is a strategy. Start one store a month. Every store on your block, you do a check. You say, okay, are they employing anybody from this community? Does anyone from this community own this store? Or are they donating or giving anything to this community? And are they respectful to the people there? And you give them opportunity to do all those three things. And if not, then you should boycott each store, one a month, until every store on your community is owned by someone in your community or owned by the whole community. Take up money. Everybody donate $100. Not donate, you put $100, $200, $300 into a pot. And you go to each store and you have enough money until they sell it back to you. Until they sell it back to the community. And that should be a common practice for us. No more of them just taking over. This is how you empower your community. Let's not just do it because they disrespect us. Let's do it because it's right. Because you can't own, a black man don't own nothing in Chinatown. We can't go to where the Hasidic Jews live at and own property in their communities and have stores and sell to them. It just doesn't happen. It's not racist, but it's just the reality. Every culture owns their community. So as a black culture, let's start owning black and brown. As black and brown people, let's start owning our communities.
BBN Jack Frost. What's up, party people? Alright, so yeah. So apparently there was a I covered this story before. I think I spoke on it. I'm not sure if I made a whole video about this particular story, but I spoke on it before. The story I just heard the brother Mysonne speaking on. And also, might I say, I do not always agree with Mysonne, as everybody knows. But I am 100% behind what they're trying to do with the Until Freedom movement. Also, shout out to Queen Tamika Mallory. I am 100% behind what I know of, just so we can be clear. What the Until Freedom movement has been transparently speaking about. I am 100% behind all of that. I just want that to be clear. Now, with that being said, apparently what happened was, and I'm going to give you the crux of it real quick. There was a gas station that was in a black community. And besides the issue that people constantly had at that particular gas station, with the disrespect that the person that owned the gas station was so eager to heap upon the people in the community, one specific incident had happened that made the community say, that's it, we're not going to allow for this man to keep making money in our community. If he can't respect us, he has to move. He apologized. The people said, that's not enough. They boycotted him. Okay. Now, for everybody that don't know, they said that the boycott lasted about 60-something days or whatever the case is. And the reason why that's the first thing that I want to bring up is that's our issue in our community. We will be in an uproar over something, and then all the people that's mad that we're upset or angry at has to do is wait a little while and we'll move on to something else. But not the people of this community. The people of this community stuck to their guns, proverbial guns, obviously. So there's something that I want to speak on. And okay, so there's this racist channel that tries to accuse me of being racist. Listen to what I'm going to say, because what they did was they clipped some of my words out of context so they could make it sound like I was being racist. But listen to what I was talking about. Do y'all remember when the pandemic initially happened? Right? And all this is going to wind back down around to what we're discussing right now. Do you remember when the pandemic initially happened and we heard about in China, they was rounding up all of the melanated individuals that they could find that was from Africa or from wherever you were. They were kicking them out of their homes. They was doing everything because they was blaming the coronavirus apparently on black people. I don't know what to tell you. So around the time that this was happening, I said, look, the weird thing about this is we have a lot of Chinese food restaurants in our neighborhood. You want to know what place the Chinese food restaurants took? They took the spot of the soul food joints. I'll say that again for everybody that don't know. The Chinese food restaurants in our neighborhoods took the spot of the soul food joints. You need me to explain? Not a problem. Also, while I'm saying this, I just want to be clear. I do not have a problem with anyone selling anything inside of any community as long as they respect the individuals that live in the community and as long as they're not doing what a lot of Chinese food restaurants did in order to get their spot, and that's undercutting prices to the point where soul food restaurants were just not a viable option. If you have to choose and you're living on an extreme budget, get this we talking about the 80s now. If you have to choose between feeding your family with $10 or going to a soul food restaurant where the food for one is just more rich. I'm not talking about the quality is what I'm speaking of, just so we can be clear. So therefore, since it's a higher grade, and it is a higher grade quality, let's not be coy. Collard greens and macaroni and cheese and baked chicken, and it's better than fried foods in general. That's just what I'm saying. And the majority of things that we get from a Chinese food restaurant is fried food. Anyway, the point in which I was trying to make was these Chinese food restaurants ran soul business restaurants out of business. Now, you want to even know what a bigger point about this is? Do y'all know that Chinese food restaurants get like almost all of their ingredients directly from China? You didn't know this, did you? Anyway, they have a port in the Bronx. It's one of the biggest ports probably in the world. I'm not 100% sure, but it's one of the biggest ports in America. And basically they have a port in the Bronx in Hunts Point, pardon me, where the foods from China come in and are distributed to the rest of damn near America. Just so we could be clear for everybody that don't know. So the point in which I'm trying to make is this, and I'm not trying to get on Chinese food restaurants, but I'm trying to explain, when we allow other people to come into our neighborhoods that don't employ us, when was the last time you saw a black or a Puerto Rican or a Dominican person or somebody from our neighborhoods working at a Chinese food restaurant? They don't employ us. I mean, it's very rare. So when you see that they're moving these people to our, when these individuals that come from outside of our neighborhoods, no matter what their demographic is, no matter what their lineage is, no matter what their heritage is, no matter what their ethnicity is, they come into our neighborhoods and they don't employ any of us, and they're making our money. You know where that money that you're spending is going? Out of the neighborhood. That's the point in which I'm trying to make. So when Mysonne says, if they're not employing any of us, if they aren't doing, why? Okay, you got a whole Chinese food restaurant. How do you say and we're just speaking about Chinese food restaurants in general. It could be talking about any restaurant in any neighborhood that's from outside of the community. And even if it's a black restaurant inside of a white community, just so we can be clear. So if you have the times like the holidays, why aren't they giving away some free meals to people that are on a budget? Why, you understand what I'm saying? Like, why aren't they doing anything to help out the community? First of all, why, just in general, have you ever seen a dollar store? It's a damn dollar store. Why aren't they doing giveaways for people during hard times? I'm just saying. So I'm 100% with Mysonne. If you have individuals that come into our community, they are actively giving to the community. We're spending money with them, and then that money is going outside of the community. If we want more black ownership, we have to start at the ground level. The ground level is what we walk outside and see. So this isn't an indictment on Chinese food restaurants. I like Chinese food myself to a degree. There's certain things I don't eat. There's certain things in soul food restaurants I don't eat also, just so we can be clear. But if you go to a Jamaican neighborhood, a West Indian neighborhood, guess what you're going to see? West Indian restaurants, right? I'm just asking. I'm pretty sure you are. So why, when we go to black neighborhoods, why we don't see soul food restaurants? And now just think about that. Now hold on. When we have regular corner stores, how many of those do you know owned by black people? You want to know why? Because when other people move their stores into the neighborhood, we're already okay with that. They're making their money in our neighborhood, not employing us, and then sending the money outside of the neighborhood. I'm fine with you opening up the store, but why don't you got some black people working there? Forget black people. Why don't you have some people that live in that neighborhood employed in one facet or another? You need people to sweep floors. You need people to carry heavy stuff. You need people to work that grill. You need people to restock. You need people to stand behind that cash register. Right? Why are they not employing people that live in the neighborhood? And now I'm going to tell you the wild thing about all of this. Hear what I just said? There's going to be some idiot saying that I'm racist because I think that black people deserve more than nothing. Think about that for a minute. So the next time you hear somebody talking about black empowerment and you see another jack-off talking about it's racist when that person is talking about how to empower black people, understand that that person is racist. So basically, anyone that is saying that people shouldn't have ownership over their own neighborhoods, I don't care if it's if it's Chinatown, I wouldn't expect to see a soul food restaurant. It's Chinatown, right? If we go to a neighborhood that is predominantly Dominican, I don't expect to see a soul food restaurant. But why, when we come to black neighborhoods, we see everyone's restaurants except for soul food restaurants that apparently have almost all gone out of business. They trying to convince us that Popeyes is our joint. Am I wrong? Shout out to Popeyes. for having a black face as their avatar. You know, they got that lady, the black lady and shit. That shit is dope. But shout out to Popeyes for doing that, because salute. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Popeyes is the black person restaurant. How? Anyway, with that being said, I'm just 100% behind this. I'm 100% for this, and that's the type of energy that we need to move with. Pardon me. So if you're one of these people that's out here and you talking about whatever smack you talking about, but you also aren't trying to spend your black dollars with black people, you're not even trying, you part of the problem. And if you don't like what I just said, you are the problem. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification gang. Hashtag Bronx Bombers. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgotten about you. And that's all I got on this one. I'm out. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you would like to help dictate the direction that this channel takes, please leave a comment. All comments are appreciated, whether positive or negative. Thank you very much and enjoy your day. And remember, positive thoughts cause for positive things to happen. Let's get it.
Mike Jones Beats.
Oh, Black Dynamite, I wish it was that simple, but this is much bigger than you and me.
Hey, little mama. It may be bigger than you, and it may be bigger than me, but it ain't bigger than you and me. Can you dig it?